Temperature is 29.3 degrees Celsius. Yeah, dew point's 22.5. About the heat index?
Yeah.
32.9.
This is Cortlandt Park, and this is just one of the 10 parks that we are focusing on for this project, kind of distributed around the different boroughs of New York. Today we're doing bird and herp surveys as part of a larger project called the Luxury Effects on Biodiversity in New York City. It's basically this concept that wealthier neighborhoods tend to have more biodiversity, and the reason for that is because wealthier neighborhoods often have more, funding, more city resources, more green spaces, things like landscaping and people planting trees.
What we'll do is we'll walk through the forest, and when we come upon a log or a rock, I'll flip it over and categorize a lot of the different things that are underneath it. So the primary targets that we're looking for today are stuff like frogs, salamanders, sometimes we encounter snakes.
For the birds, we're going to be walking around and counting using binoculars and also listening to bird songs to try to identify how many different species of birds we see.
A lot of these parks that we're surveying and exploring are actually ones that I grew up playing in when I was a kid, so there's some astonishing things in there. I did find a bunch of salamanders a few days ago further up north in Westchester, so I think there's hope.
Periodically we'll do an audio survey using the Merlin app. It's an app Cornell puts out that's kind of like Shazam for birds, I've heard it described as, a blue jay.
Yeah, there you go.
And right now we're in an area with really high canopy, so we can hear a bunch of birds up there, but can't really see them, so this is a good spot for that. A lot of the literature out there looking for luxury effects on biodiversity have focused on birds, but there's really not a lot of people doing this kind of study with things that live on the ground.
Something that we see a lot is that certain parks will have groups that come through and they actually sweep up all the leaf litter or clear it out to make a space, and when they do that, that's another huge disturbance on the environment because it's not just the cover objects that the organisms are living under. Yeah, this is an earthworm, so pretty large one at that. So if you don't have a very mature, very rich layer of leaves, that affects the invertebrates, and then that's a food source for birds, that's a food source for snakes and invertebrates.
One of the cool things about this project is I think no matter what trends we find, the information is going to be really valuable to the city. If we do find luxury effects in a positive correlation between socioeconomics and human wealth and the species in the parks, then that's a call for the city doing something about, environmental racism and addressing the fact that wealth shouldn't be the reason people have access to really amazing wildlife.